To recap about what is an array, we say that it is a collection of elements of the same data type. Arrays are a storage for elements, and given an example wherein we declare an integers of array with size 10 would give us this one, 1, 2, 10. Okay. And that the arrays are indexed starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and just maybe an empty. And then we say that the array of size 10 has the following values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, would mean that given array at index 0 has the value of 1, 1 has the value of 2, 2 has a value of 3, index 3 is a value of 4, and so on and so forth. This is 4, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Index 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And to traverse this array, we use a loop, wherein if we're gonna use a for loop, it would be for index started at 0 and until the size of the array. We increment. So that's basically how we traverse through each element in the array by using a loop. It can be for loop or while loop or do while loop, as long as it is a loop. Alright. Okay, in reality, when we do process data, and we have this information, it's not just a one dimension of data, just one. So let's say we have here, as you may have seen the class record, wherein we have, let's say, 5 students. And of course, each student has taken 5 courses, and thus in each course it will have corresponding grade, and that in the class record it will show you have your student 1, student 2, student 3, and 4 and 5. And you have your grade 1 for the course 1 and 2, 3, G4, G5. And here in this table are the grades. So let's just say student 1 for the first course has 88, all 88. And we just have a random numbers here. So this is an excellent student maybe. And here are just arbitrary numbers. So just like that. And we see here for student 1, it's only the student's data. So in this block here, this is a one-dimension array of data. So see here is a sequence of data for the 5 grades for the 5 courses. Here also is different. This is only for student 2, and that would make a one-dimension series of data here, and so on and so forth up to student 5. But then if we're gonna combine this, the grade of student 1, 2, 3, and 4 to 5, then we have here the grades, 5 grades, and we have here 5 students. This would make a 2D of data, wherein given 5 students, in each student has 5 grades. So when we say a 2D array, it is a collection of data or multiple data defined in 2 dimension or rows and columns of, again, the same data type. What makes it 2D? So it has 2 dimensions wherein, let's just say this is the X. So when we create the graph for, this is a 2D. It's only defined with the X, and we have here the Y. And that, usually it has here the values of X and the values of Y's. And that, if we combine the X and Y, would form like this. So here, this will be the origin wherein starting 0 and starting 0. So for 2D arrays, the index always starts from 0. So here, X index, and we have here the Y index. So you can see if it can also be a table, right? And in each cell, here you will have your element or data. And how do you locate this data? So it is defined with the value of X and the value of Y, or the index values of X and Y. So let's say we complete this indexing. So to locate this data cell, it would be in the values x is 7 and y 2, or it can also be yx. So if it is yx, it is 2 7, or somewhere here, and that would be 4 4. Right, so how do we define or declare a 2D array in C? So let's say we have integers. We focus on integers. So integer type, and this is a 2D array. So I just use 2D array, and then you have here size, which is it is usually in order size of the rows multiplied by the size of columns, semicolon. And let's just say that this is the identifier or variable to name our array. So I'll still use 2D array of size 5 by 3. This would be equivalent wherein we have 5 rows. So that would be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it can also be 5D, 5 times of 1 dimension, and that 1 dimension has 3 columns. Or you can put 3 data. So we have here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5. And that we have here 3, which is the index 0, 1, and 2. And that to locate this data here, that would be at index 1, 1. Or we can say the 2D array at index 1, 1. And let's just say in this array we have 88 here, wherein the 88 location would be the 2D array. So at index 3, 2. Or here, what would be the value of 0? So the 90 is at 2D array, index 0, the row, and the column here. So that's how we do the location of the elements. So that is how we declare 2D arrays. So how about we initialize the values of a 2D array? How do you do that? So for example, we have an integer of a 2D array with size 3 by 3. So remember, when we declare a 1D array, what we did is, this is the array with size 5 equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to initialize a 2D array of size 3 by 3, so you can say that if this is the 2D array, you have 3 rows and you also have 3 columns, right? Take 0, 1, 2. And that you want to put the values 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 27. So how do you initialize it? So as you can see here, if you have one array or one-dimensional array, we enclose it with a brace. So here, since it's a 2D, so for the first row, we'll have the values of 3, 6, and 9. And we have here on the second row, we have 12, 15, and 18. Then, third row, we have 21, 24, and 27. And here, so this would be sequence of 3, 6, and 9. You have your 12, 15, 18, and we have 21, 24, 27. You can also do like this and separate them by comma and close it in one opening and closing brace. So this will give you this one here. And how do we traverse each element in a 2D array? Traverse, or let's say access 2D array. Similar, what did we use for the 1D array? So we use loops. We use a loop. And since it's a 2D array, then we're gonna have to use 2 loops. Wherein if we have a 3 by 3 array, so this is the rows, this is the columns. Then we use a loop here for the rows, and we use a loop here. And if you remember a nested loop, or in each row you will have columns, so that would be in each rows you will have a loop for the columns, and that we will use 2 loops. So for example, we have the for loop, so you can use any variables to name it as long as they will have different variable names or identifier. Now I will want to use a rows and columns. So let's say you declare an integer of arrays, 2D arrays of size 3 by 3, which has the following values. So the first row, 1, 2, 3, and we have 4, 5, 6, and we have 7, 8, and 9. So to traverse or access this one, we use for loop, where in the first loop, rows starts at 0, and while the rows is of course less than 3, And in each row we have 3 columns, so we're gonna add here. So for each row, the column starts at 0 and it has 3 columns. Then you can display the value of 2D array, which is, you have 2D array. Okay, I'm gonna continue here, which is at index rows and index columns. So the difference between this is for 1 dimension and 2D array. So to define or access a value, it would be array index. Well, for 2D it would be array at row index multiplied by the column index. And how many loops? So you're gonna need 1 loop here and here 2 loops. Right? Okay, so that's how you access a 2D array, and that still the same if you wanna, this is initialized, but if you wanna put values in it, so instead of printf, you're gonna use scanf for inputting dynamically the values here. And to end or summarize everything, so 2D array is simply a stack of 1-dimensional array. So we have 1D and we stack another 1-dimension array, and we should say this 1-dimension array has size 5. 1 and always starts with 0. And how you traverse a 2D array is starting here to here and it's ending, so proceed to the next one and traverse here and proceed to the next row and from here to here. And if you want more to add, like that, it's from left to right and from top to bottom. But you can also do the other way, from right to left, but you will start from this index down to 0. So that would be the inverse. If you're from right to left, or from bottom to top. So here you will start at index 0 and increment, while for reverse you're gonna start at size -1 and you do decrement until 0. Here until size and size -1. Right, so that's it for the 2D array. If you have any questions, just let me know or comment down on the video. Thank you.